What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Legit Whiskey Reviews. My name is Javier, and today I'll be reviewing Rebel 10. So Rebel 10 10-year single barrel. This comes from Lux Row Distillers, which I believe was recently purchased by MGP, and everyone knows MGP out of Indiana. So this is 100 proof and 50% ABV. This one retails, if you can find it, for right around the $80 mark. Like I said, it's you know, if you can find it, it's pretty new, and you know, the availability is, you know, give or take, depending on your area, you know, it's available, or you know, it'll be hard to find because it just came out. So this one is like I said, a single barrel. So from bottle to bottle, these may differ, and my bottle here, the barrel number on this one is 565-1879 for those of you guys that are curious. And the barrel for this one was filled on 9/30/2009. So this should be pretty interesting, you know, with the price, but also like with the insane prices for aged wheated bourbon. I don't think I mentioned that this is obviously a wheated bourbon, and you know, with the insane prices for aged wheated bourbons, I feel like this here is a very good value if the nose and the taste, you know, is up to par. So let's get into this. All right. So it's sticking really good to the glass here. There's no legs yet forming. Now they're starting to form, but they're not even dripping down yet. So it's sticking very good to the glass, good viscosity. All right, let's go to the nose. So on the nose, the first thing that really pops out and jumps out of the glass is a deep, dark, rich cherry note, specifically like a sweet, like a maraschino cherry. That's the first note that right away pops out of here, like very rich. Right after that, there's a deep, rich vanilla coming through. So the notes that I'm mentioning to you guys here, they're very like vibrant and very like deep, dark, rich notes that are coming out of this glass. There's a good amount of spice coming through here. And your classic caramel note is coming out as well. I'm also picking up a little bit of oak here. So for the most part, you're getting your classic bourbon flavors, but this is very rich, very, you know, very dark, and very sweet notes that are coming through as far as the nose here. But that note that sticks out the most when I stick my nose in here is that maraschino cherry note. It's very prominent. All right, so let's go to the palate. Cheers. Very similar to the nose. This cherry note is coming through on the palate as well. The vanilla, caramel, and then towards the mid palate, going towards the back, that's when I'm getting a good amount of spice. There's no rye in here, but it's that spice is definitely coming through, and I do get that in some weeders every now and then, and this is one of them where that spice is taking over on the back end of the palate, which I like. It's a note that I feel like brings balance to the palate, and then it finishes with a decent amount of oak. There's a good amount of oak here, but it's like a sweet oak, so I really like that. This bourbon here is very balanced, but let's go at it again. The more it sits here in the glass, that vanilla note wants to come to the forefront. It wants to be the dominant note here, and that's what's happening now. That, well, once dominant cherry note is going back a little bit, and the vanilla note is starting to take over on the nose. But let's go to the palate again. So the same thing is happening on the palate now. The vanilla and the caramel note are starting to take over in the front. And I feel like that spice note that I was getting the first time, it's still there. It's still, it lets you know it's there, but I feel like towards the back end, the oak now is starting to take over. And I feel like the spice is taking a back seat to that oak. So there's a lot of, a lot going on in the glass here. I feel like it's switched up, and I like that. It keeps you thinking, and I feel like this whiskey has a lot to offer, especially if you're a wheated whiskey fan, wheated bourbon fan. This is something that you're gonna find very interesting. There's a lot going on here. There's a good amount of oak, but the oak is not like tannic or bitter. It's like a very approachable and sweet oak. So as far as my final thoughts on this, I think this is a very good, it's an amazing wheated bourbon. The price, although it's pretty pricey, I feel like it's fair, because these guys, they recently got rebranded as well. So they took out the Yell from the Rebel, so it's just Rebel 10 now. And so there's a lot that goes into the name change. So, and plus they're sourcing the whiskey. This is this is a non-disclosed mash bill, and it's also they don't disclose where the whiskey is coming from, and I have no idea where it's coming from. But just like taking all that into account, I feel like it's a fair price for the bourbon, especially like I said, with a lot of aged wheated bourbons out there going for over the $100 mark. I feel like I said this is an amazing value here. But as far as my final thoughts, this is very good. It keeps evolving in the palate, coats the palate well. Everything that you look for in a solid, very good wheated bourbon, you get here. The only thing is that it's not overly, you don't get the light fruits. This is very sweet, but it's not like on the sweeter side of a wheated bourbon. This stays more towards the middle, and you get darker, richer, fuller notes in here rather than the lighter, fruitier notes that you get on other wheated bourbons. So if you feel like this is something, the notes sound like something for you, then I would say, yeah, definitely go ahead and pick this up, because you won't be disappointed. So I'm gonna give this an A. Just an amazing, bourbon overall. But as far as a wheated bourbon, I feel like it brings something different to the table, because it's not overly sweet and just super mellow. This is deep, rich, dark, but it's also balanced with the oak and the spice in the back. So there's a lot of good balance and a lot going on here. So if you like my content, remember to smash that like button. Remember to subscribe. You can catch me on Instagram at LegitWhiskeyReviews, and keep it legit. and do it for the love of whiskey. Cheers.